I shouldn't have stopped. That is the sentence that loops in my head every single night before I fall asleep. It's the thought that wakes me up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. I shouldn't have stopped. It was Christmas Eve, 2011. I was 22 years old, a college student driving home from the University of Vermont to my parents' house in upstate New York. I had delayed the trip until the last minute because of a final exam, so I was driving the back roads, Route 9, hoping to avoid the highway traffic. It was a mistake. By 11 p.m., a light flurry had turned into a full-blown blizzard. The world outside my windshield had vanished, replaced by a swirling wall of white, hypnotizing snow. The radio was fading in and out, playing static-filled Christmas carols that sounded more like funeral dirges in the isolation of the dark cabin. I hadn't seen another car for 40 minutes. The heater in my old Honda Civic was rattling, struggling to keep the windshield from freezing over. I was gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white, just praying I wouldn't slide off into a ditch and freeze to death on Christmas Eve. Then, I saw him. At first, I thought it was a hallucination, a trick of the headlights reflecting off the snow. But as I got closer, the shape solidified. Standing on the shoulder of the road, miles from the nearest town, miles from any house or gas station, was a figure. He wasn't waving. He wasn't hitchhiking with a thumb out. He was just standing there, facing the road, waiting. He was dressed as Santa Claus, but not the Santa you see in the malls. This suit was old. The red velvet was dark, almost maroon, stained with grease or dirt. The white fur trim was matted and gray, wet with melting snow. The beard looked synthetic and cheap, hanging crookedly off his face. My instinct, my gut feeling screamed at me to keep driving. Don't stop, don't look, just go. But then my rational brain kicked in. It's Christmas Eve. It's 10 degrees below zero. If I leave this guy here, whoever he is, he will be dead by morning. Hypothermia doesn't care if you're weird. It just kills you. I cursed under my breath and tapped the brakes. The car fishtailed slightly on the ice before coming to a stop, about 20 feet past him. I looked in the rearview mirror. He turned slowly like a machine and began to walk toward the car. He didn't run. He walked with a heavy, limping gait. He was carrying a large canvas sack over his shoulder. It looked heavy. He reached the passenger door. I unlocked it. The door creaked open, and a gust of freezing wind blew into the car, carrying snow and something else, a smell. He climbed in. He was big. He filled the passenger seat, his knees pressing against the dashboard. He dragged the canvas sack onto his lap, hugging it against his chest with both arms. "Thanks," I said, trying to sound cheerful. "Nasty night to be out walking." He didn't answer. He didn't even look at me. He just stared straight ahead through the windshield, his hands gripping the sack. His hands were wearing dirty white gloves, the kind that magicians use, but they were stained. I pulled back onto the road. The silence in the car was suffocating. "Hey, is the windshield wiper stuck?" I thought him turn. The windshield wiper was stuck. I have to check it. He turned his head slowly. For the first time, he looked at me. Under the cheap synthetic beard, I couldn't see his mouth, but I saw his eyes. They were wide, unblinking, bloodshot, and there was absolutely nothing behind them. No anger, no fear, just a void. He didn't say anything. He just watched me. I slowed the car down. We were in the middle of a dense forest, pitch black, no streetlights. "I'll be right back," I said. "Just 2 seconds." I put the car in park. I left the engine running. I opened my door and stepped out into the blizzard. The cold hit me like a hammer, but I didn't care. I walked to the front of the car, pretending to check the wiper. I looked through the windshield. He was watching me. His head followed my movement. I knew I had one chance. I bolted. I didn't get back in the car. I turned and sprinted into the woods. I ran into the deep snow, stumbling, falling, scrambling over roots and rocks. I didn't care about the cold. I just needed to get away from that car. I ran until my lungs burned. I hid behind a massive oak tree, shivering violently, waiting for the sound of the car door opening, waiting for the sound of heavy boots crunching in the snow. But I heard nothing, just the wind. I stood there for what felt like an hour, freezing, my teeth shattering so hard I thought they would crack. Finally, I saw headlights coming down the road, a snowplow. I ran back to the road, waving my arms like a maniac. The driver stopped. I climbed in, crying, hysterical, telling him about the man, the blood, the sack. He radioed the police. We went back to my car. It was still running. The headlights were cutting through the snow. The passenger door was open. The Santa was gone. The police arrived. They searched the woods. They found footprints leading away from the car, disappearing into the tree line. But they never found him. They did, however, find what he left behind. He had taken his sack, but on the passenger seat, smeared on the gray upholstery, was a pool of blood. And sitting right in the middle of the blood was a small gift-wrapped box. A Christmas present. The police officer opened it with gloves on. Inside, it wasn't a bomb, it wasn't a finger. It was a wallet, my wallet. I had left it in the center console. He had taken it out, wrapped it, and left it for me. Inside the wallet, my driver's license was missing. They never caught him. The escaped convict theory was never confirmed. But every Christmas I move. I never stay in the same address for more than a year, because somewhere out there, walking the roads in a dirty red suit, is a man who knows my name, knows my face, and knows exactly where I used to live. And sometimes, on Christmas Eve, when the house is quiet, I think I hear the sound of heavy, wet breathing right outside my front door.